Welcome to the lounge, where we challenge accountability. I'm Urban, and we don't do surface talk here. We use emotional intelligence, thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Every beat a question, every bar a lesson. I turn the mic to a mirror, life's a session. Urban in the mix, soul and intellect blend. We ain't just talk truth, we set trends from Dallas to the world. We break that ceiling, no clout, just facts, that's the real feeling. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Trap drums drop, but the message don't fade. Every thought sparks like a hand grenade. Faith, pain, love, and drive all collide, that's how minds revive. All collide, that's how minds revive. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Mind open wide like a city skyline. Every topic shaped by design. The urban lounge where ideas ignite. Late night thoughts under podcast lights. Every episode of thought design. The urban lounge where iron sharp iron. We build from the ground like truth rewiring. Can't fake what's felt when the mic's ignited. If you listening now, you already invited. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking.
Warning, the following image and or content may be disturbing, offensive to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Real quick community guidelines before we start the show. Now I want y'all to know that this is a space for respectable, thought-provoking conversations. We encourage intelligent discussions, different viewpoints, and respectable debates. Disagree if you want, but do it with substance and respect. Self-promotion is not allowed. This is not your billboard. Links, spam, and promotions in the comments or in live chat will be blocked immediately. Distasteful trolling, insults, or bad faith behavior will not be entertained. You will be blocked and banned. No warnings, no back and forth. Finally, y'all will notice that the subscriber mode is on. It is only for 5 minutes, y'all. 5 minutes. That way we can protect the integrity of the show and also protect the integrity of people who actually want to comment in the comment section faithfully, all right? We're here to think, challenge ideas, and grow, and not derail the conversation. If you're here in good faith, then I welcome you. Y'all enjoy the show. Salute everybody, salute. Welcome to the lounge. Appreciate you tuning in. My name is Urban. Man, we got a lot to react to tonight on this episode. And I hope y'all enjoy this episode, man, because and I did a lot of research on this particular content creator that we're going to be reacting to, all right? And yes, this person that we're going to talk about is a content creator. She's a content creator on YouTube. She's a content creator on Instagram. She's a content creator on other platforms as well too. So yeah, she's a little bit known. You know what I'm saying? So not to time out to research her and research her situation, I found it very interesting, and I also found that it is most definitely going to fit into our conversation because, you know, over here at the lounge, we love to talk about topics like this where we're not bashing, you know, people, nothing like that, but we want to hold people accountable as well too, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know, where we can learn from situations like this as well too. So appreciate y'all tuning in. I appreciate everybody who's here right now. So we already got 6 likes and about 6 people watching, and I'm pretty sure it's going to increase as the show go on. So thank y'all so much who are watching right now. Those of you either in the bushes or you're catching the replay, appreciate that a whole lot. Those of you who are catching also the replay and you're watching, make sure you hit that thumbs up to support the channel. All right. Appreciate you. Ron, what's up with it, brother? Appreciate you tuning in like always, my brother. Appreciate the information that you also be sending me on the back end as well, too. Appreciate that. Appreciate you a whole lot. Man. Before we get to the show, man. My good state of Texas is dealing with a lot of severe weather right now. Lord Jesus. So we done had a couple of touchdown tornadoes that happened north of me. A lot of severe thunderstorms. We had severe hailstorms as well too. So it been like a little apocalyptic in Texas right now. So we're dealing with all the severe weather right now. But thank God that in my area we have not getting hit as hard as other areas. But even with the other areas, they're getting hit as hard. You know, my own prayers goes out to individuals who are affected by these Texas storms. Those of y'all who are not aware of it, man, Texas, when we get to springtime, right, in Texas, that's when all hell breaks loose. We get a lot of tornadoes, we get a lot of flash floods and all kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. It's crazy in Texas. So prayers up to everyone who's affected by these storms, all right? So but in that, we think I'll get into the topic tonight, man. Once again, I believe this is gonna be a really good show tonight. Also, this is gonna be a lot of information I'm gonna be sharing with y'all tonight, and I'm gonna do my best to try to get through all of it. If I don't get through all of this, then we probably gonna end up doing a part 2, maybe tomorrow, all right, on this, because it's a lot. It's a whole lot, y'all. So just like I stated to you earlier, right? The content creator that we're going to talk about tonight, her name is Christine Elizabeth. Christine Elizabeth is known as the finance baddie. Okay. Once again, she's known as the finance baddie. She do have a platform on just about every social media that you could think of. She is known as a lifestyle content creator. All right. So the reason why we're going to talk about her is because she, about a year ago, she had got married. She had got married to this young man, right? And within less than 12 months, she ended up getting a divorce. Yes. She got married a year ago, and 12 months later, she got a divorce. Oh, yeah, y'all know that Urban is going to talk about this tonight. Y'all know I'm going to talk about this tonight because I want to understand her reasoning behind why she decided to get married to this man in the first place, knowing good and well that she wasn't going to even survive for a whole year with this man in a marriage. And it also raises a question, too, that been talked about a lot in the space like red pill spaces and stuff, right? Even the manosphere, right? About the whole concept about getting married. Now, the whole talking point is that modern men believe that it is not a great deal for them to get married. Matter of fact, it is a terrible idea for a modern man to get married. Okay? Is this situation going to prove these men who believe in this correct? Or is it going to be something totally different where it's going to prove them wrong? Maybe it was the dude's fault who married her. You know what I'm saying? But like I tell y'all, right, I'm all about accountability as well, too, because not only I'm going to be looking at her, but I'm also going to be questioning her former husband as well, too. Because y'all know how I am. Y'all know whenever we get into these, say, relationships, the number one thing I always say is vet, and vet some more. Don't just try to holler at a woman just because she look good or she call herself a baddie or anything like that. You got to dig down to the root core of this woman to figure out how the way she is, how the way she move, how the way she operate. And yes, this could apply the other way around as well, too. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the song content for the hour or hours, because like I say, this is gonna be a long show tonight, y'all. We're gonna react to her, and we're gonna do our best to get through all of this. If we don't get through all of this, then most definitely I'm gonna do a part 2 episode of this. All right. So here she is. This is Christina Elizabeth. She is known as the finance baddie. All right. So without further ado, let's figure out her reasoning for getting married, and 12 months later, 365 days later, she decided to get a divorce and got divorced. So let's hear her perspective.
So why am I getting divorced after a year and a half? I got married at 28 and I'm 29 and I'm currently getting a divorce. And I owe it to you guys to explain to you why I'm getting a divorce.
Now, let me clear this thing up. When she was filming this video, right, and this video is actually a 30-part series, okay? When she was filming this, she was in the process of getting her divorce, okay? So when you hear her using language saying that she's getting divorced, keep in mind that she was filming this while she was in the process of getting the divorce, all right? And we're gonna dive into this. We're gonna dive into everything from her engagement through her wedding, and even her post-divorce video as well too. So that's why I say we got a lot to do tonight, y'all. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, if she sounds a little low, I would recommend that you turn your volume up just a little bit. All right, so you hear.
Because over 10 million of you guys watched me get married last year across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and a lot other wedding content that I put out. I'm a lifestyle creator, and so, you're going to see my life, the ups, the downs, all of it. It is just a part of the process. But the reason why I do want to share why I'm getting divorced is because I got married to a narcissist unknowingly, and it was all built upon a lie. And I started talking about this on Threads and on my Twitter account, and I shared some of that to my Instagram stories.
Now, real quick, one thing that stuck out to me is that she said that she got married to a narcissist. That's one part. But I don't think y'all heard the other part. The other part, she said that she got married to a narcissist unknowingly. So my question is this. How in the hell would you not know that a dude is a narcissist? How would you not know that? Because obviously, before she decided to get married to this dude, she was in a committed relationship with this dude. So if he is a narcissist like she claimed him to be, right, then she should have seen the signs while she was already in a committed relationship with this dude. Now, the thing about this is this. It could be a very strong possibility that she saw the signs in this dude, but she decided to go ahead and go through it anyway. And do y'all know the number one reasons why preferably women would go ahead and go through marrying a alleged narcissist, right? Number one reason is because the dude has money. He's rich or he's wealthy. It's the number one reason. So money will literally make a woman forget her alleged woman's intuition. She'll forget that altogether because of money, because this dude could take care of her. Now, am I saying that this is facts or what happened? I have no earthly idea. I don't know. But we're going to find out. Now, just like I say, this is my first time hearing her reaction to what's going on with her. Okay? So I don't know what she's going to say. I don't know if she's going to explain this story all the way through, you know what I mean? I have no earthly idea, you know what I mean? But we're going to examine it together, all right? So let's go ahead.
And since sharing that, I've gotten hundreds of DMs from women who are in the same situation or who have been in that situation.
Cultural, so with it.
And so many of them have told me, I'm so grateful that you've been talking about this and that you've been transparent about this, because I didn't have the strength to leave. Now that I'm seeing that you are leaving so soon as well, I'm now inspired to leave. I do want to talk about this.
What's up, Lionel?
Specifically when it comes to the narcissistic abuse part, because you don't even realize it's happening to you while it's happening to you. For so many of us, we just didn't even know what was happening while it was happening.
See, that's another thing that I'm questioning, okay? The reason why I'm questioning this is because if what she's saying is true, right? If what she's saying that she's dealing with a narcissist, there are always behavioral patterns when dealing with a narcissist. A narcissist behavior pattern does not change, period. But for her to say that I don't know this until I got into this, then all of a sudden I'm married and now I'm seeing all these things happening, it's kind of questionable at this moment. Okay. But a matter of fact, before we dive deeper into her story, right, I want to go ahead and show y'all her engagement videos, right? I'm gonna show you her engagement videos, and I'm gonna show you her engagement party, and then I'm gonna show you her wedding video as well too, just so y'all can get context to what she's talking about. All right. So this video right here is a video of her if she's getting ready to get engaged. All right.
Get ready with me to get engaged today. We're gonna go to brunch, so I'm just gonna hydrate my skin with some nourishing rose oil from Laura Mercier because I just want to glow today. I know because my boyfriend is bad at keeping secrets. My family is Jamaican, and if you know anything about Jamaican family, they just can't keep anything to themselves. Just came back from brunch. These are my earrings that my boyfriend got me. I already washed my face. I am pissed I didn't.
Now, here's something I want to point out too. She was saying this. She was saying she's getting ready for her engagement, right? So she know without a shadow of doubt that this is going to happen to her. I find it interesting that she had announced that her boyfriend and her family are bad at keeping secrets because of them being Jamaican. To be honest with you, and that's my perspective, I'm just calling bullshit on this.
That's bullshit.
I'm calling bullshit on this. But we're going to continue. And I see your comment, Coach as well, too. I'm going to address it shortly, all right?
Find this thing sooner. Okay, here's the hair. This is the face. I'm going to fix this side, but I'm trying to decide if I should wear this heel or this heel. Oh my, she is giving me wife. That's what I was originally thinking. But now I'm like, you're a little more couple.
So now we're off, and it was the most magical engagement ever. I love this man so much. Once I get the official pictures, I will post them here. And guys, prepare to be sick of me with this ring, okay? I'm not gonna stop. We went to dinner, and here I am again with the ring. Okay, I'm not gonna stop. And he actually planned a surprise cruise for us. So now I'm off to my engagement moon with my fiance.
That's just...
Now, before we get to this next part, the reason why I call bullshit on this is because I believe this. Now, this is just me just theorizing this whole situation. I honestly believe that her whole engagement was staged. Now, when I say stage, I'm not talking about it being a whole fabrication, meaning that it was just a fake story that people just put together strictly for content purposes. When I say stage, I'm talking about he already told her what was going to happen for the sake of her content. That's what I'm talking about. So that's the reason why she said that indirect thing earlier, talking about, my boyfriend and, my family stuff, they're bad at keeping secrets. Yeah, because they told you what was going to happen. So that's the reason why you knew to go ahead and get yourself together. She literally got her hair done. She got her nails done. She went and got her address and everything for this event. What normal woman would know to do something like that? A normal woman wouldn't even be remotely thinking about that. A normal woman would probably have a feeling that, something may happen, but they don't know exactly that it's going to happen. Imagine this. Imagine her getting dressed and getting prep and stuff for the engagement to never happen. That'd be crazy as hell. Why she's filming all this for her alleged content. So that's what I'm saying. Now, I believe that these particular moments, it was staged in a way where, just like I say, I'm not saying that the overall wedding was fake or whatever stuff, right? But I'm talking about it was staged for, her overall content. So she could share it because, once again, she mentioned that she's a lifestyle content creator, meaning that these type of content creators, they focus on doing what is known as RIL content. Now, RIL content can go into the lines of vlogging as well too. So let's continue.
A stupid boulder.
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock.
Holy shit, look at these rocks. Holy shit.
And my man, thank you to my man. And my man, thank you to my man.
Now, it was a reason why I let this show to the end, because I wanted y'all to hear the very end song. The very end song says that she loved dealing with what? A rich nigga. She loved dealing with a rich man. And throughout this whole entire time, she's showing off her wedding ring. And what's even more interesting about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that the only time she showed her boyfriend / fiance is the moment when they got engaged, or when he proposed to her. Right here, this is the only time she showed him. It's the only time. So I don't know. Coach talk about she was dealing with a scammer. Okay. So also, let me go back and view these comments with Culture. Now, Culture said it's not this one, but this comment right here. If you're not aware of the dark triad behavior, you want to know the red flags and signs for dealing with narcissists. Okay, pretty much. People are very aware, yes, a dark triad is always in full knowledge and ain't right. They're also very good at hiding their behavior until you are locked in and have little options to run. Now, the reason why I want to bring these comments up is that I'm also going to call bullshit on it.
That's bullshit.
The reason why I'm called bullshit on it is because I'm going to say this. I'm going to say people are fully aware when they're dealing with a narcissistic person. Once again, people are fully aware when they're dealing with a narcissistic person. The reason why is because a narcissist's behavior does not change. And you could see the signs of a narcissist. It is there. It is there. What I will say is this. People tend to see the signs, but guess what they do? They will blatantly ignore the signs because they feel like this particular person is a great access. This person is a great benefit to them, that they could get whatever it is that they want to get out of this person. In the case of dealing with women, right? When women deal with narcissistic men, right? I told you one of the number one main reasons why women would deal with narcissistic men, knowing good well they know he's a narcissist, right? Is because of money. It's because this dude could take care of them. This dude could fly them out on the trips that they want to go to. She could be, as you say, this boss babe, right? And she could do whatever the hell she wanted to do. I did a little one digging on her story and stuff, right? And I found out that throughout the whole time while she was with this dude, she decided to be a housewife. She decided to be the housewife. And the only reason why women would do something like that is because, once again, when they get with a dude who has money, their whole mindset is that this is my man, my man, my man. I love being with a rich nigga and different things like that. He's going to take care of me. So they'll literally surrender their whole entire life for this man. knowing good and well he's a narcissist. Because let us re-examine this, because women say this all the time, which I call bullshit on that, but women say this all the time too. They said that my intuition, once again, my intuition is not wrong. So let's entertain that for this particular situation. Let's entertain that her intuition was absolutely correct about this dude, even from the beginning. But guess what? She decided not to listen to her intuition and decided to go through it because she knew this dude is going to take care of her. There's another thing too. We're going to get to the next part of this video where we show her other engagement and stuff, right? There's another part of this. Before her meeting this dude, remember, I told y'all that her YouTube name is the Finance Baddie, okay? She said this. She said that her whole occupation is for her being on Wall Street. She said her whole occupation, her being on Wall Street. Now, Wall Street is a broad term, all right? And I don't like it when people do that. But when people do that, and they say, yeah, I'm Wall Street, stuff like that. When I hear people do that, I already call them bullshit on them as well too. Bullshit. Because Wall Street could be the broad term. So what exactly on Wall Street are you doing? Because there's certainly different functions that happen on Wall Street. You could be a financial analyst. You could be a trader. You could be a business consultant. You could be all these different levels at Wall Street. So what exactly were you doing at Wall Street? But we're going to continue. Make sure I hit the thumbs up to support the channel, all right? So here's another video that I want to share for y'all consideration, all right? This is the video of her actual wedding. Now, keep in mind, she said that she's a lifestyle content creator, all right? So, meaning that she got to film everything that's happening with her life for some strange ass reason, okay? So, let's consider this. This is her actual wedding.
So I incorporated Botox into my skincare routine most recently, and honestly,
oh, by the way, I have no earthly idea why this woman felt that she needed to do Botox. Because as you could obviously see, this is a young, how old is she? She at this time, she's like 28 years old, I believe. She's 28 years old and she's using Botox. Normally, people who are older who use Botox, like in their 50s or 60s or something like that, will use Botox. It's very uncommon for a younger person to use Botox unless they've been convinced that Botox is going to enhance their beauty. So that's already another red flag with her using Botox to enhance her beauty. As y'all can see, she already be doing all this makeup and adding all this artificial stuff to her whole entire body, right? And now she adding Botox as well too.
Might be here to stay. Here's how I took my skin to the next level in time for my wedding. So I'm getting ready to go to Laser Away because I'm going to get some forehead Botox and some smile line filler. Did y'all know that Botox also helps to control overproduction of oil in your skin? And less oil production means fewer breakouts, and I do not want any breakouts during my wedding week. I got to Laser Away, they applied some numbing cream, and for those of you who are going to say, oh, you don't need that, I am fully aware that I do not need any of this. I take great care of my skin, I get facials, I apply face creams, but the fact of the matter is that there's no facial that will make your forehead as smooth as Botox does.
And y'all heard what she said, right? She said that she do all this normal skincare routine. Even though she do all this normal skincare routine, she feel like that is not good enough. That's not good enough.
No amount of face cream that you can apply to make your smile lines disappear. Only filler can do that for you. Also, life isn't just about what you need. It's also very much about what
Hey, Lionel. Hey, bro. When I seen her, right? When I had seen her and I seen her behavior, this what made me want me to react to her, bro. Because yes, she act exactly like my ex-wife. For us to behavior wise. Now, for us to look, she look about 10 10 to 15% more beautiful than my ex-wife. All right. So I give her that. But for her attitude and her behavior and all this stuff, yeah, she had just like her for real. For real.
You want. Right now, it looks like I have a bunch of mosquito bites on my forehead. She also did a pinch of Botox right above my upper lip, which helps a little bit with my gummy smile. Next, she's filling my smile lines, and here's how I look when she's done. Honestly, not bad at all. And I love how smooth my skin looked a month later on the day of my wedding. I'm a firm believer that your makeup can only look as good as the skin underneath it. So I'm gonna prioritize my skin every time. The wedding content is finally here. Come with me to get married. I got up at 4 a.m. I think I was just too excited and couldn't sleep. I'm really going in with these eye masks today because obviously I'm not trying to look tired on my wedding day. I took a shower and got dressed.
Sales is a part of it too, culture.
Today, my husband actually got it.
Yeah, you're correct.
And I love. After that, I went downstairs and made myself an iced coffee. Our wedding is today and our honeymoon is tomorrow, so I did a little bit of laundry because we really don't have a lot of time. I fed Zara, took her on a walk, and gave her a treat to make up for the fact that she is not invited to the wedding. Then I hopped in an Uber to get to the country club. My hairstylist Delenia is getting started with my hair. She washed and blow dried my hair the day before. She's been here since 9 a.m. doing my bridesmaids here. I'll be doing Hollywood waves. This is my first time doing any kind of waves in my hair actually, and I really like it. There was a little cheese and cracker spread, which was pretty much the only thing I ate this day because it was a very busy day. Now my mom's getting her hair done and I'm getting my makeup done. Shout out to Blush. She did my makeup, my mom's makeup, and my bridesmaids makeup in record time. I got some shots in my robe, got my mom together. My hairstylist is doing some final touches, and now I'm putting on my dress. This dress is custom made by DEO Bridals, which is a Black woman-owned bridal dress business based in Canada. Shout out to my bridesmaids who were helping me get myself together. I honestly don't know what I would have done without all of their help.
You want to know what's also interesting, ladies and gentlemen? Now, this is just me and my particular intrusive thoughts on this, all right? Isn't it always something that the only time when a woman is very, very beautiful is the day of her wedding? Hey, y'all notice that? That the only time when a woman is, just flawlessly beautiful, almost on a godlike level or a goddess-like level or beauty, is the day of her wedding. Hey, y'all ever noticed that? Throughout the one times that, you spend with, your woman, right? She'll get herself together for like date nights, right? Where she'll look average as best. She'll get herself together, for certain special situations like, maybe birthdays or whatever, right? She'll get herself together, maybe for church if she go to church, but they never don't get themselves on this level of beauty until the day of their wedding. Where when you look at them, right, you be like, God damn. God damn. You be like, shit, I done married a supermodel. God damn. Only to understand that she's just going to be that way just for this particular moment. She's not going to be that way no more through the rest of her life. That should say a lot. That should say a lot, preferably about the mentality of modern women. That they only believe that they should only get themselves together the day of their wedding on this level. And all the rest of the days, we as men got to put up with the bullshit, the average as best bullshit with them.
That's bullshit.
We got put together, we got to deal with the average as best after the wedding. We have to deal with the normalcy. Understand? But maybe that doesn't mean, maybe that is my intrusive thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm just looking into this more deeply than what it is. But that's what I noticed. The only time when a woman get herself together is the day of her wedding day, when she's looking flawlessly beautiful. Where it's like, damn. This is the, I'm put to y'all this way. This is the only damn time that I can honestly say that any woman, it don't matter what woman she is, she could be an average woman, she could be a hood rat from the hood. The moment when she get herself together, she be on the 10 level. She be on the level as Beyonce. That's why I don't know if y'all been looking at wedding video reactions, right? That's the reason why them niggas be sitting up here crying at the altar when they see her walking down the aisle. They be like, "Oh my God, I married the goddess. She looks so damn beautiful." And be breaking down and crying because that dude never seen her on this level before. Throughout the whole entire years of him courting her, throughout the whole time of them being in a relationship, right? He never seen her on that level. And so this dude breaking down crying, slobbering and everything. And the dude can't even get through his wedding vows correctly. Oh, Sinner sitting in here. What's up, Sinner? What's up with it? What's up, Sinner? Salute. Hey, the dudes be up in there, be boo-hooing, crying and stuff, right? Sinner, the first day I met you, I knew you was a beautiful goddess. Dude be crying like ain't nothing, y'all. Because he never seen her on that level of beauty. Ever. The closest of a beautiful woman he done seen in his whole entire lifetime is him going to a concert and seeing one of these celebrities like Beyonce or any one of them. But even then, he's looking from afar. Or he may seen a celebrity on TV. That's the closest a man ever seen a woman on that high level of beauty. But guess what? It's definitely going to be his last time too. I'm saying. Definitely going to be his last time. Because after when you see it, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Shout out to everybody in the building. What's up with it, King D? What's up with it, bro? And shout out to everybody else who are in the business as well, too. We are reacting to content creator Christine Elizabeth. She called herself the finance baddie. She had got married a year ago, right? And within 365 days later, she is divorced. Fully divorced. And we are reacting to this. We're trying to figure out the reason why she decided to get divorced within 365 days. So far, she is saying the reason why is because her husband was a narcissist. She said her husband was a narcissist. And she also said that this thing does all of a sudden manifest within 365 days. This thing just manifested itself and he just became full-blown narcissist. I already told y'all that I'm calling bullshit on this.
That's bullshit.
But let's continue. Let's continue to view the last part of her wedding, all right?
Things just happen to go wrong on your wedding day no matter what, so get all the help that you can. After that, I put on my cathedral veil and we're pretty much ready to go. Before I walked down the aisle, my maid of honor said a prayer with me. My bridal party looked so beautiful. Now it's time to get married. If you want to see my wedding photos, they'll be on my Insta.
All right, so once again, this is her husband right here that she's calling a narcissist, okay? Just like I said earlier, there are always signs that you could tell that a person is a narcissist, regardless if they're a man or a woman. You can always tell the signs because their behavior do not change. A narcissist feel like that they shouldn't be held accountable because they honestly feel like that there's nothing wrong with them. They feel like that they is right, you is wrong. So that's why I keep reiterating over and over again, a narcissist behavior is noticeable. They're going to show it. Even if they hypothetically try to hide it from you, it is going to be there. You will see the signs. You'll definitely see the signs. But just like I stated earlier, right, what people tend to do is that they ignore the signs because they believe that the benefit is greater than the cost of the behavior.
Be on my Insta. Stay healthy and wealthy.
All right, so this is her wedding. Now she's happy. She's happily married and all that good old stuff, right? So let's get back to the main video of her telling her story about why she had got divorced, okay?
I'm going to share as much as I can. And I think it's also important for us to remember that there's a difference between narcissistic personality disorder and having narcissistic traits. Okay, those are two different things. So let's start from the beginning. So in 2020, I met my husband on Hinge, and I was living in New York City at the time, and I was working from home. I was working on Wall Street, and I was pretty isolated. Here comes my husband on Hinge, and he looks great, and he seems like a pretty decent guy, and he really sold himself as like this faith-based guy.
I'm gonna get into it, Coach. I'm gonna explain to you the signs. Coach, I'm gonna explain to you the science about narcissism. All right. A matter of fact, I had did a show talking about this. When I did that show, like I think it was over a year ago, right? Like when I did a whole show talking about narcissism, right? So I'll explain to y'all signs because like I say, they're there. But another thing that I notice is that people know the signs, they see the signs, but they tend to ignore it. They tend to ignore the signs because they see the benefit outweighs the behavior. And that's typically how the way it goes every single time.
And like really serious with like really good intentions. And, I bought it. Now he was going to be starting a job on Wall Street as well at a different firm. And I like the fact that he was already in the industry, so he understood my work schedule because I really did have a demanding schedule. Again, very normal guy, seemingly decent guy. The relationship is good to start. Towards the end of 2020, I started to pick up on the fact that our values weren't really aligned, and especially when it came to faith.
See, when I say stuff, y'all, I don't say stuff on the top of my head, okay? I say stuff because I know what I'm talking about. Now, listen to what she just said. She said that she started noticing subtle signs. Now, she said earlier that I had no idea that the dude was a narcissist too after we got married. But before you're married, you start already picking up on subtle signs. In this particular case, you're picking up that y'all faith or your own religion didn't line up how the way that you felt like that it need to align. That should have been the first red flag.
There were
Gertrude,
things that weren't adding up, right? So I did let him know that, hey, I think we should break up. I think we should part ways because, we're just not aligned. Now, he accepted it at first, but then he kept trying to message me and get back with me and saying, I really don't understand. I really miss us and all of that. And then he starts to mention the fact that there's a ring fund because, he sees me as his future wife that he's already gained 14% on. And I remember saying to him, like, I'm sorry, what does that have to do with anything? And so that is an example of, I think it's called love bombing.
Exactly. Love bombing is part of narcissism. Absolutely it is. So this is mainly like for women because men typically do this to women to try to win their affection, all right? A man will walk up and say this crazy ass bullshit. I don't know why y'all believe this dumbass line. I don't know why y'all believe it, but y'all fall for it every single damn time. This dude will walk up to you as a woman and say, I don't know what it is about you. He be looking into your eyes. I don't know what it is about you. But God had told me that you are my wife. Hold her by the hand. God told me that you are my wife. And it's through the grace of God and His glory that we need to fulfill this thing that God wants us to be ordained to be married. There, every single time the woman fall for this bullshit. God really told you that for real? Yeah, baby. Man, one day, I was cleaning up and I was praying, and next thing you know, boo, the thought just came into my mind and said, "That's your wife." Or they'll say it on the lines of this: the day when I first met you, God had told me that's your wife. And y'all be like, that's a form of love bombing. That's what narcissism do. It's called hooking a person. You tell them what they want to hear. Typically, modern women, most of them are lined up with some type of spirituality, whether it's Christianity, whether they're the spiritual period, right? But most of them are lined up to some type of spirituality, right? And if you hit them to the heart of that matter, which is their spirituality, which is their faith, right? Then you automatically have one. Fellas, y'all think I'm lying about this, right? Some of y'all probably did this to two women. But if y'all have not did this to a woman before, this is going to be one of these social experiments that if you're single, I want you to test this out to see if it works. If you're a single man right now, right, I want you to just entertain me on this one. Test it out and see if it works. Go to a bar or a lounge, right? Or whatever, right? See a woman that you believe that she's beautiful or, she's cute or whatever, right? You get the encouragement to strike up a conversation with her. Now, don't start the conversation saying that dumb shit. Man, God told me that you my wife. No, because they're going to look at you as being weird. You do the initial meet, right? You walk up to her and approach her, introduce yourself, do your thing. And then if she is interested in you, right? Later on down the line, after when y'all exchange number and you talk to her for approximately 1 day. All it takes is 1 day. When you talk to her for 1 day, that whole entire day, you are connecting with her. You sharing commonality with her. You sharing her that, y'all compatible, right? She like boating, you like boating. You like golf, she likes golf. And you doing all these different things, right? Y'all laughing, hee 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 hee. Then y'all go on that initial date, right? That initial date, you sit it down for dinner. Y'all having a conversation, you're eating and stuff, right? Guess what? You go and say that line while y'all eating. Is Senna still here? Because I'm picking on her tonight. You go on that date and you look in her eyes. Senna, baby. I don't know what it is about you, but we are connecting on so many different ways. We're connecting because we have similar things that we love to do. And guess what? You know what else we connected to? Oh, what? Our spirituality as well too, baby. What do you mean by that? I'm kind of afraid. I'm kind of afraid to say this because I don't want you to make it seem like that I'm weird or whatever, right? But I'm just going to say, I'm just going to be bold and say it, all right? What is it? God told me that you are my wife. They're right there. They're going to mail. Really? And I'm just putting out on game with this because that's one of the oldest ass lines in the playbook. That is an instant panty dropper. If you tell a woman that God told you that you're going to marry her, that is an instant panty dropper for real. Just putting y'all on game. Let's continue, y'all.
I am somebody who had a narcissistic parent. So I grew up on gaslighting. I grew up on manipulation. I grew up on love bombing. So that feels familiar to me. I didn't really have the language for what exactly my soon-to-be ex-husband was doing at the time. But now that I do have the language for it, I see it for what it was, right? If you have broken up with somebody, they seemingly accept it, but then they're coming back and they're like, okay, but I have 14% on a ring fund.
Now, see, here's another thing too that she's being disingenuous about, right? She had broke up with him for the most stupidest reason. She had broke up with him because they spirituality or their religion didn't align together. So when you do stuff like that, that is not a closure for anybody. And that could be either man or woman. That's not a closure. That's not really a good validation to end something that you already done started. Because of something simple as that. Even with dealing with religion, you can meet halfway with religion. Like, say, for example, you're a Christian, you're Muslim. You can meet halfway in that, right? Or am I wrong about that?
Right? They're trying to like lure you back in, right? They're trying to talk about all these things that they do for you or what they're doing for you to try to lure you back in. Now, I was resistant to his efforts. At the beginning of 2021, I do start a new job, and that job is actually at the firm that he's working at in a different capacity, but we've been broken up. We're still cordial. Now, he's still trying to get back with me. He's inserting himself in a way that's friendly, but like also clearly like he regrets that, you know, we parted ways. Again, I'm focusing on my new job. I'm just focusing on like getting my life together. He does become a source of support for me as I'm in this new job.
So he ended up becoming a source of support for you. Now keep in mind that she said that initially she had broken up with him, but however, she still communicated with him. Now, if he was doing all these things and she was feeling uncomfortable, right? Why she continue to communicate with him? Why is that line of communication is still being established? Because if that be the case, you could simply just block him from everything, from your socials and all the stuff there, where he can't even contact you no more.
Because he's already familiar with this firm. He knows how to support people, and like he really is just a great friend to have. My birthday's in July, and yes, we're friends, we're not together, but he totally inserted himself into my birthday in a way that was like, you know, I'm her man, got me a cake and everything, and like I appreciated all of those efforts, because at the end of the day, like it's great to have somebody who is looking out for you and all those things. But again, I wasn't cognizant of the fact that like boundaries were not in place, right? And this is something that you have to be very aware of as a young woman when you're dealing with these men. Like, if you have broken up with somebody, right, there is no reason why they should still be coming around in that capacity. And if they keep coming around under the guise of friendship, right, because they love and care about you deeply as a friend, you need to be very careful. Because I was very convinced that, okay, he keeps showing up and he's just around because, like, you know, he just cares deeply about me. He just wants to be the person that's there for me. Now, despite the fact that we're broken up, anybody who has shown any kind of interest in me, anyone who he knows is interested in me, he's creating obstacles for these people. He would want to spend like every waking moment of the weekend with me, and I just had zero space. This is another sign that you are dealing with a narcissist. They do not give you any space. Keep in mind, the job that I had at this time on Wall Street, I was working at the desk from 6:30 a.m. until roughly about like 6:30 p.m., right? So I'm 12 hours on the desk, Monday to Friday, and every waking minute of the weekend, he would want to spend time with me. I don't really like people like that. I like my space. I do believe that I am an introvert, and I really do need to recharge, especially.
Wait a minute. Hold the hell up. She says she's an introvert? How the hell is she an introvert, but she's a lifestyle content creator where she display her life activities 24 hours a day? How did that work? And then another thing too, she mentioned about being on Wall Street again. She was sitting up here saying that she's at the desk. Now, once again, this is why I'm questioning this, because there are a lot of different things that you could be doing at the desk at Wall Street. You could be in customer service. You could be handling our bonds. You could be doing day trading. You could be doing all different things for Wall Street, dealing with finances. You could be balancing out being an accountant, but she never make it plain about what exactly she's doing with Wall Street. It's almost as though she's intentionally being disingenuous about what she's doing. And even more further, it seems like she's also being kind of disingenuous about this whole situation as well too. She said that she don't want to deal with this dude, but at the same time, she's sitting up here taking money from this dude. That's what she said. She literally is taking money from this dude. If you don't want to have nothing to do with this dude, then you should have cut him out. But you still in communication with this dude. You still taking money from this dude. The reason why she's doing that is because, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this dude is of value to her. He's making money as well too. So she see a value to him, so she wanted to string him along. It's like, I put it to y'all this way, it's like a weird ass indirect way of putting somebody in the friend zone that you're already been in a relationship with. That's pretty much what it is.
When I'm in an office setting and when I'm around people for so long, like I need like to decompress, right? I'm blessed now that I work from home and I don't need to like recharge as much, but I really needed my space. Now it is fall of 2021 and he is really lobbying, really pushing that we get back together. And he's even convinced another one of my friends that he really loves me. He really sees a future with me and, you know, for me to give him a chance. He's very, very, very convincing. Like this man, he could sell you anything. He is really good. He puts on a great show. And even my friend is like, wow, like I don't know any guy who's ever loved you this much. Like,
oh, goodness. And you know what? Let me hash back to her again, right? What she was sitting her talking about that she's an introvert and all this stuff there, right? I'm still trying to figure out how in the hell are you an introvert and you're literally letting strangers into your life, and you're doing it. It's one thing. I put y'all this way. I share with y'all every single time about the good parts about being a content creator, the bad parts about being a content creator, and the ugly parts about being a content creator. Right? Now, my main focus on my content is over here on YouTube. But I do have a TikTok as well too, and I have an IG. But all my content is on YouTube. The reason why I do all my content on YouTube is because it takes a lot of work just putting out content on YouTube. So imagine this. Imagine putting out content not only on YouTube, but on all socials that you could think of. Just think about that, right? And then on top of that, the more socials you're putting your content out, the more you're exposing yourself to people. So I'm trying to figure out how in the hell is she saying that she's an introvert and she deals with lifestyle. She's sharing her life every single day on every social. The more socials you have, the more people you're going to get who's going to watch your content. You may have 100,000 here on YouTube, 200,000 here on IG, 500,000 on TikTok. So how in the hell are you an introvert? And here's another thing too. She was sitting up here mentioning that this dude was literally smothering her. Man, he smothered me. I don't like it when dudes just be, all up on me like that, want to know what I'm doing and different things like that. This is one of these double standards things that I'm going to throw out there. Now, man, say I'm lying about this. The moment when a man prioritizes his life over his woman, what that woman going to do? I'm going to say again. The moment when that man prioritizes his life over that woman, what she's going to do? What that woman going to do? Oh, babe, I got off of work. I'm just too busy right now. I got to do this and that or whatever. Then, he does do, the bare minimum thing to take you out every once in a while or whatever, right? Then he back doing his own thing. Guess what that woman going to do? She's going to start feeling some type of way. She's going to say, you're not spending time with me. Do you really love me? Because if you love me, you will sacrifice your job and your time for me. Am I lying about that? Am I lying about that? So that's why I find it interesting whenever I hear women say something like that. I do. It's almost as though it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. When you do show them affection, when you do show them, the 5 love language bullshit that they enjoy, right? When you do these different things, right? Then it becomes too much for them. I need space. But when you do less of it, right? Or even none at all, oh, you don't love me. But let's continue, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the building right now. We are reacting to content creator Christine Elizabeth. She is known as the finance baddie. We are reacting to her tonight because she had got married last year, and within 365 days later, she has gotten a divorce. And we're trying to figure out the reason why all this transpired. All right.
This man he is so committed. And I'm like, yep, that is true. And I'm like, you know what? I'll give him a chance. We did get back together. At this point in my life, I wasn't really going out. I was just focused on myself. So if you weren't already in my immediate circle, if I didn't already know you, chances are we were not going to meet because I went to work, I went home, I went to the gym, and I was just like focused on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just where my head was at. Now, by December of 2021, he starts applying to some jobs in Florida because he says he wants to move back to Florida potentially. By January of 2022, he gets a job offer in Florida, and he also does get another job offer in New York, which in my opinion was more aligned with what he wanted to do career-wise, but he decides that he's going to take the job in Florida. Now he's trying to say to me, am I coming with him to Florida? I'm like, absolutely not. I have my career here. At the time, I knew no one in Florida. No, I'm not going with you to Florida. And I had broken up with him because I was like, I'm not doing a long distance relationship. I just don't want that for myself.
Wait a minute. Didn't she not say earlier that she broken up with him due to religious obligations, meaning that they spirituality or religion didn't align together? Didn't she not say that earlier? So now she's saying that she broken up with him because he wanted her to follow him to Florida. Now, correct me if I'm wrong with this, all right? If you believe in the Bible, right? Isn't the woman supposed to leave her mother and father house and cleave to her husband, and just the same as the husband's supposed to cleave to his wife? So wherever this husband homestead is at, that's where the wife should be at as well too. There's no negotiation. There's no, I'm not giving my life and my career for that. No. But these certain things that I hear all the time that modern men deal with, especially when you're dealing with career-driven women, where it's almost as though it's that they want their cake and eat it too. Or I put it to you this way: these archetype of women, they want you to adapt to them. They want you to be the sucker and adapt to them. And then if they decide to adapt to you, then there's going to be certain bare minimum stuff as long as it's compatible with their particular situation. Y'all see why I say that it's very important for people to vet out each other to see if they truly are compatible with each other.
Now, after we got married, I found out that he actually told his coworkers and others, his friends and stuff, that the breakup was mutual when it wasn't, right? Because he was crying these crocodile tears, these fake tears. In retrospect, they were fake tears. They were narcissist tears. When I told him that, look, I'm not moving to Florida with you. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not doing long distance. I have my career here. It is what it is. I think it was early February that he moved to Florida. Valentine's Day comes around 2022. Now, I think I'd gone out and I posted up like, you know, just in a cute dress or whatever. Who's calling my phone to find out if somebody took me out for Valentine's Day? My soon-to-be ex-husband. Mind you, I'm single, right? What did you think was going to happen? Do you not think there is a line of men waiting to take me out? You're single. I'm single. It's none of your business. Why should I spend Valentine's Day alone, right? Like, you decided to move to Florida. I am living in New York.
Once again, this is the reason why I say the things that I say, all right? When I be doing these reaction videos, I am very, very observant. I listen to everything that people say. Now, my moderator, Lana, he was asking me earlier, like, dang, Urban, why we rehashing this thing again about her being an introvert? Why are we doing this again? Why are we talking about this again? This is the reason why. The reason why we keep reiterating this over and over again, because I keep constantly calling her in her line of bullshit. Now, once again, she stated that she's an introvert. She stated that she ultimately don't want to be around people like that. She stated that she needs to be recharged, right? Fine. That's fair. But however, when it comes to around to Valentine's Day, right? Oh, you're not an introvert no more. You're going out and hanging out with people. Introverts doesn't do that. You know what introverts do on Valentine's Day? Not a goddamn thing other than maybe don't watch some Lifetime movies and drink some wine, if possible. Hell, introverts probably don't even celebrate Valentine's Day. But she decided to go out on Valentine's Day, and then this dude found out about it. However the hell he found out about it, that's a mystery in itself, because once again, if she's no longer in contact with this dude, if she says she done broke up with this dude, then how the hell he's finding out all this information? Urban, you know that he's looking at her socials. I know that. I know he's doing it. And that's the point. That's the point that I'm making. Here's another thing about introverts. They do not want you to know their business. So guess what? They will private their socials to only certain type of individuals will know what's going on with them. And that individual is in a small circle. And then the only reason why they would do that, ladies and gentlemen, is simply because they want to make sure that these said individuals in their circle know what they're doing. So if anything were to pop off, they know where to find them. It's the only time. But in her situation, he found out about it because more than likely she got all her socials open. Come with me, ladies and gentlemen, as I go on the Valentine's Day date. I'm putting on my makeup and stuff and getting ready for the Valentine's Day. All right, I'm putting on mascara as I get ready for the Valentine's Day. All right, I'm going to Ruth Chris as we pull up to the Valentine's Day date. All right, at my Valentine's Day, I decided to have on surf and turf at my Valentine's date. At the end of my Valentine's Day, I bid the dude goodbye because he wasn't compatible with me. But thank you for joining me for my Valentine's Day date. But you're an introvert. Bullshit.
That's bullshit.
I'm going to enjoy myself. You know what I'm saying? I tell him, look, you need to calm down and you need to focus on your life in Florida. There are a lot of baddies in Florida, right? Focus on the baddies in Florida. Let me live my life, right? Period. He's upset. He's not happy with it. It is what it is. Now, we didn't really talk for a while. I want to say like maybe about a month and a half, because I kind of cursed him out and I was like, look, you need to stop calling my phone. You need to leave me alone, like boundaries. He starts to weasel his way back in after a couple months of 2022 from the friendship angle. I started to post on TikTok in May. My first video that went viral on...
let me bring this point out too. There are three different archetypes, right? There are extroverts, introverts, and omniverts. All right. Extroverts is the archetype who doesn't mind being sociable with people, even with people that they don't even know. Introverts is the opposite of extroverts, meaning that they love to be by themselves. Ambiverts, however, is the cross between both of them, meaning that one moment at a time, they don't mind being with people, but at the same time, they will do certain things to let them know that they're introvert as well too. Like case in point, for example, they don't mind going out to like a social event, but when they're at that social event, they tend to sit away from people. That's what ambiverts do. They'll go to the event and they'll kind of sit away from people where they be by themselves, but they're present in that moment. Now, the reason why I'm just only going by what she said. She's saying that she's an introvert. That's what she said. So due to her actions and behavior, I know that she's ultimately not an introvert. And that's the point that I'm making, that she's not an introvert at all, period. Now, I would say this. I'll say that she's crossing more of a line of an ambivert than an introvert, to be honest. And yes, there are people out there like y'all mentioned about Johnny Depp. Yes, Johnny Depp is a prime example of an ambivert person, where he'll do things that's needed for him to, survive, which is, work, which in this case, he's doing movies and different things like that. He have to go to red carpet events and do all these other different events too. But if you notice Johnny Depp behavior, when he's actually present at that event, right, he tends to try to be by himself, or he tends to be with his immediate circle, which is normally it'd be his agent, it'd be, some producers or, different people like that that's part of his immediate circle. He don't try to be the ultimate life of the party. So that's a prime example of an ambivert.
TikTok happened in the end of May. And in June of 2022, an anonymous account is created on Twitter.
I bet.
It has no posts. I'm still friendly with my soon-to-be ex-husband, right? He's still a friend to me, and that's that.
She's saying that she's still being friendly with him. Now, keep in mind, she said that she broken up with him and everything for two reasons so far. Because religious worldviews and because he was doing all this weird stuff. But yet it's still, she felt that it's beneficial for her to stay friends with this dude. And I wonder why. Reason why is because this dude, ultimately, was still funding her. She was probably was asking for money from this dude and getting money from him. And by this dude being a sucker and ultimately being a simp, he obliged. Because in his mindset, he believed that by him continuing to do these things, he's proving his work to her. Gentlemen, you should never do that for a woman. You should never have to prove your work to a woman. Not like that. There are other ways how you could prove your work to the woman without using your money.
Single in 2022, I'm focusing on myself. In August of 2022, I'm told by my boss that I'm being put up for early promotion. My soon-to-be ex-husband, at the time, I considered him to be one of my best friends because he always positioned himself to be like this source of support for me.
Now he's a best friend.
Just somebody who really loved me, like unconditionally.
Now he's her best friend. Now he's a support system. But y'all broken up. Wow. And that's what's interesting to me, y'all. What's interesting to me is that she literally does put this dude in the friend zone so she could still benefit out of this dude.
He was one of the 2 people that I let know that I was being put up for early promotion. Unbeknownst to me at the time, that same week, that anonymous Twitter account made some tweets using screenshots from my TikTok account, tweeting my firm and FINRA. Now, FINRA is the regulatory body that oversees broker-dealers, etc. Again, there are 2 people that I told that I was up for early promotion. He's the only one who would have known to tag FINRA in those tweets in an attempt to bring me down or to get me fired or to mess up my chances of getting promoted. I don't find out about these tweets because I wasn't even tagged and I wasn't really on Twitter like that. I was called into the office by compliance at my job and they were telling me that, hey, there's this FINRA investigation going on because this random Twitter account made these tweets referencing your content and they tagged the firm and they tagged FINRA. They just told me, hey, just keep an eye out, let us know if you have any idea who it could be. And they told me that they'd be doing their own kind of investigation as well. I remember my boss saying to me, go look into that, go figure out like what's going on there. And I just thought, okay, maybe it's just like some random hater. I just had no idea who could be behind this kind of account. Now, if I'm experiencing a certain type of harassment on the internet, I do loop in my lawyer just to get an assessment of like, what do you think this is? And I remember my lawyer saying to me upon reviewing the Twitter account and reviewing the tweet, he said, honestly, Christine, we've seen this before many times. This account was created specifically to try to bring you down. These tweets are laced with jealousy. This is a classic case of jealousy. And he actually asked me, did you get put up for promotion or something? Did you get a promotion? Because I've seen this a lot before, and it's clearly laced with jealousy.
Wait, hold it. Wait a minute, bro. Wait, what? Why does she need to consult a lawyer about simple tweets? That's like me being a content creator, right? And I know good and well that people were going to like create accounts and stuff, right? Which in the end happened. I didn't have people come over here create fake accounts just so they could get into the chat just to troll me. It happens. I didn't have people create fake accounts and they go on my TikTok and say some crazy ass shit. It happens. The more higher you get in content creation, the more devils you're going to deal with it. It happens. But not in one single time have I remotely even thought about trying to consult a lawyer about that. That's weird.
And he said, is there anyone you can think of who would be jealous about you getting a promotion? And I said, well, I only told 2 people. And those people, in my mind, I was like, they would never be jealous of me. Plus, only one of those people would have known to tag my firm and to tag FINRA. And I remember asking my soon-to-be ex-husband, I was like, hey, did you tell anybody else? But he was so supportive. He was just like, oh my gosh, the fact that somebody would even do that to you, they're such a hater. You guys, this man was like praying with me. He was like, I want to pray with you against like the attacks of the enemy. It's not funny. Nothing about this is funny, by the way, but it's like, at this point, all I can do is laugh, right? Because I was so convinced that this man was for me, right? He was praying with me, right? Now I know that he was behind that account. He didn't want me to get that early promotion because he knew that if I got promoted, there's no way I would be moving to Florida with him. And he had to figure out a way to get me to move to Florida because he just had to have me. Here this man is praying with me, being like, I just don't know why anybody would try to do that to you. And like, you just have all these haters now and whatnot. And he created this account in June of 2022 when he saw that like, okay, like, her TikTok is.
I'm asking the question, how did she know that it was him that created this account? Is she assuming that this is what he did, or did she literally see the receipts behind this, that he literally created this account?
More people are going to find her. So I got to make sure by any means necessary that she doesn't find somebody better. He's telling me that, you know what, you're on the internet, you're on TikTok now, people can find your TikTok, so it's just probably somebody who hates on you. You've always had haters. It could be anybody. I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right. It really could be anybody at the end of the day. Now, nothing came from that investigation. I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get fired. But did those tweets mess up my chances for early promotion? Absolutely.
See, once again, even when they did an internal investigation on this, right? She's saying that nothing didn't come back from this, but she know without a shadow of doubt that this dude created this account. Now, help me to understand this. When a company like that does an internal investigation, they're going to let you know who created this account, who leaked this information. They're going to let you know. They're going to pull you into the office. Hey, we're going to conclude our internal investigation, and we came to the findings that this such a person did this. Do you know this person? They'll say, hey, this person created this account. Do you know this person? Yes or no? But she's saying, oh, they did an investigation. They didn't find nothing. I don't know about this one, y'all. This one don't sound right at all. Period. It sounds weird as hell. It sounds weird as hell. And Culture had mentioned this. Culture had said she only told 2 people, right? Culture, I'm calling bullshit on that as well too.
That's bullshit.
Reason why I'm calling bullshit on that is because let's go hash back about who she is. Her name is Christine Elizabeth. She called herself the finance baddie. What does she do? She said that she is a lifestyle content creator, meaning that she posts her lifestyles on her socials 24/7. So for her to say there was only 2 people that knew that she was going to get a promotion, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Now, what I should have went back into her account and pulled up the receipts of her talking about this. Hey, y'all, join with me today, the financial baddie, that I possibly got a promotion. I'm so excited, y'all. Because that's what she does. She's a lifestyle content creator. No matter what it is, she's going to post it. She's going to post it. So, no, it wasn't just 2 people. It was by probably 100,000 people that found out that she was possibly getting a promotion. And maybe one of them trolls probably created an account. I don't know. But to be honest with you, this particular part right here, what she's saying, to me, it does honestly sound like she's just making this shit up, to be honest with you. Because it does not make any sense. It does not add up. It does not add up professionally at all, period. I don't know. But once again, shout out to everybody in the building. What we're doing right now, we are reacting to the content creator Christine Elizabeth. She is known as the financial baddie. We're reacting to her is because she had got married last year, and within 365 days, she is now divorced. And she is blaming her divorce on a narcissistic husband. So what are we doing? We're reacting to this. We're trying to figure out, is this story is true about her husband being a narcissist? Okay. And so she's explaining the story to us about why she ended up ultimately getting divorced by this narcissist. All right. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Hey, what's up with it? I'm Maya, right? Salute, welcome back to the lounge again. Haven't seen you in a minute. Appreciate you pulling up. Let me go ahead and address the super chat as well too. Culture has said this time YouTube took my $5. That's what I'm talking about, because you was having a hard time doing the super chat the last time, right? You was having a hard time with the super chat the last time, but appreciate you donating and sponsoring the show tonight. Appreciate you a whole lot. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get back into this content again. Cause we're trying to figure this thing out, man. Like, I'm like my moderator. He said that man Urban going in on her tonight. To be honest, I'm really not trying to go in. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible in the situation. But whenever I be listening to people attentively and they be explaining situations to me, right, and I be picking up on certain things that they say, I just got to say something about it. Especially when they say one thing and I'm saying another thing. I'm just saying.
So he was successful in his attempts. One thing that I did find out from my firm from this investigation process was that they had reason to believe that the person behind this account was a whistleblower. So they were a former employee and they were airing out their grievances while using me to do so. Now, January of 2023, I have a new challenge to focus.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What?
And like the attacks of the enemy. It's not funny. Nothing about this is funny, by the way, but it's like at this point, all I can do is laugh, right? Because I was so convinced that this man was for me, right? He was praying with me, right? Now I know that he was behind that account. He didn't want me to get that early promotion because he knew that if I got promoted, there's no way I would be moving to Florida with him. And he had to figure out a way to get me to move to Florida because he just had to have me. Here this man is praying with me, being like, you know, I just don't know why anybody would try to do that to you. And like, you just have all these haters now and whatnot. And he created this account in June of 2022 when he saw that like, okay, like her TikTok is growing. More people are gonna find her. So I gotta make sure by any means necessary that she doesn't find somebody better. He's telling me that, you know what, you're on the internet, you're on TikTok now, people can find your TikTok, so it's just probably somebody who hates on you. You've always had haters. It could be anybody. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right. It really could be anybody.
I ain't gonna say it, y'all, because I already said it over and over again. That she said that she only told 2 people. But yet it's still, she got a TikTok account and she decided to tell everybody.
At the end of the day. Now, nothing came from that investigation. I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get fired. But did those tweets mess up my chances for early promotion? Absolutely. So he was successful in his attempts. One thing that I did find out from my firm from this investigation process was that they had reason to believe that the person behind this account was a whistleblower.
Wait. She said earlier that when they did the internal investigation, they didn't find nothing. Once again, they didn't find nothing. Now she's saying that when they did the internal investigation, they had found out that the person was a whistleblower. So which one is it? Did they not find anything? Or did they find something and concluded within their findings that this person is a whistleblower? Which one is it?
So they were a former employee and they were airing out their grievances while using me to do so. Now, January of 2023, I have a new challenge to focus on.
Wow. So in other words, it was a former employee that created this account the whole time. Now, keep in mind, she said that she was convinced that her ex-husband had did this, right? So what is she saying? Is she saying that her ex-husband worked at the place that she was at and created this account and became a whistleblower?
Because the Black people at my firm have been getting underpaid now for 2 years. And we had clocked it the year before, but we were told that it was going to be corrected and we'd be made whole this current year, which was at the time 2023. That was not the case. In fact, it was even worse in 2023. Now, that kind of stuff doesn't sit well with me. And of course, I'm telling my soon-to-be ex-husband about what's going on because he is a friend of mine and he's very supportive. He's like, you know, trying to make sure that he could be there for me and just like support me in this time that I'm taking on this challenge of like pushing back against my firm. So one of the things that I do is I write a letter to the head of HR. Because of that letter that I wrote to the head of HR, an investigation was launched and they were like, yep, we messed up. People's pay needed to be revamped. Now, even though they fixed the pay of all of the Black employees that were hired through this program, it still wasn't the correct amount. We were still being significantly underpaid compared to our white peers for doing the same work. I was not happy with that solution.
Okay. So she's saying this. She's saying that now while she was working at this alleged job, right, there was a situation that was happening where the Black employees found out that their white counterparts was making more money than them. Now, my question is this. How did they know that? How did they know that they white counterparts was making more money than them? Especially if this company is salary. Now, through my experience with dealing on recruiting and software HR, right? People are going to make a certain amount of salary based on their skills and ability or what they can contribute to that said company. There's a thing that you can want to look at, right? When you apply for any type of job, right, and you go through the process of interviewing for, high-level jobs, they do what is known as a salary range. They don't give a straight salary, but they do a salary range. Do y'all know the reason why they do that? Why they do a salary range, not a straight salary? The reason why they do that is because within that salary range, they grade people based on their ability to do the job, their skills, their education, their experience, and different things like that. And they grade it. The more skills, the more education, the more experience you have, the higher of the negotiation scale that you could make. Like, say for example, you have a one job. Their salary range is $50,000 to $60,000 a year. That's their range. They're not going to go no higher than $60,000 a year. But the low end, they start at $50,000. The reason why they start at $50,000 because they call that what is known as an entry level. All right, and so they'll pay you at $50,000 because maybe you just graduated from college and you receive a bachelor degree in whatever it is, but you don't have no experience. And so they'll start you at entry level, let you enter into that particular position at the low end with the potential, based on you, with the potential of doing what is known as a performance evaluation. When you do your performance evaluation, you have the opportunity to raise up the scale of making more money within that salary range. That's how it works. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, right, is because when you work at different companies, right, or high-level companies, right, everybody in that company is going to have different salary ranges. Your counterparts is not going to be making $20 an hour because you make $20 an hour. They may be making $25 an hour. They may be making $30 an hour, but it's solely contingent based on their skills, ability, and education, or what they bring it to the table to that company. So, of course, people is going to either be making more than someone or less than that person. Of course, that's going to happen. Now, the only exception to the rule, if you deal with low-end companies, like, say, for example, you're working at, what's the company? You're working at Walmart. You work at Walmart, and Walmart doesn't have a salary range. They tell you straight up, you're going to make $40,000 a year. No further than that. Everybody's going to make $40,000 a year. That's the only exception to the rule. Now, the only difference when other people is making lower is due to the type of position that they apply for. So if you bringing in grocery carts every single day, you're not going to get paid no $20 an hour doing that bullshit. You're going to get paid probably like about $10 or $15 an hour doing that. Versus a cashier who's dealing with customer service. So they're going to be making more money because they got way more responsibility. They have to count their till. They have to make sure that they're not robbing the company. They got all these different things, plus dealing with customers. So they're going to get paid more on the high end due to the work that they do. So I'm curious to want to know, how did she come up with these findings with this particular job? That there was demonstrated any type of discrimination against race, because that is against company policy to do that anyway. So how did she figure this out? What happened? Hopefully she'll explain this one, because I'm utterly confused on it. To be honest with you, I've been confused on her whole story all night. That's why I keep stopping in and reacting to it, because I keep catching her, and to be honest with you, I keep catching her in a lot of lies on the cool though, because she's not being consistent with her storytelling.
Because I knew that that was just them slapping a Band-Aid on a situation that literally needed surgery. So, I lawyered up. One thing you're never going to do is you're never going to play with my money, especially when I worked for it. I've now taken on this legal battle with a major Wall Street institution. I am literally drained and exhausted. I'm fighting for myself and others who are not even willing to fight for themselves, right? Because there are a lot of people on Wall Street and in corporate America who are just not willing to stand up for themselves. But here I am, putting in the good fight. Now, at the time,
Now, she mentioned about Wall Street once again. So I'm assuming that this is the company that she's working for. She's working for some type of company on Wall Street. And I'm assuming that they are part of the Fortune 500. We're just going to assume that. So once again, just by that alone, that lets me know right off the bat that when it comes to salary, they automatically go through salary ranges. They don't have no set salary. So I'm trying to figure out how this is a discrimination suit that she's trying to put together, or a whistleblower or whatever.
I did go to spend some time in LA because I'm just actually mentally drained. And it was good because I think it was like a different type of isolation. But at the same time, my soon-to-be ex-husband used this opportunity to really weasel himself back in as a source of support for me. He would fly
Coach,
to
you wow.
spend some weekends in LA with me. He was really just like this great source of support for me and convinced me to get back together with him. And I was like, honestly, like, he gets it. He understands what I'm going through, and at this point, this man knows me well.
Wait a minute. What?
It's messed up my chances for early promotion. Absolutely. So he was successful in his attempts. One thing that I did find out from my firm from this investigation process was that they had reason to believe that the person behind this account was a whistleblower. So they were a former employee and they were airing out their grievances while using me to do so. Now, January of 2023, I have a new challenge to focus on because the Black people at my firm have been getting underpaid now for 2 years. And we had clocked it the year before, but we were told that it was going to be corrected and we'd be made whole this current year, which was at the time 2023. That was not the case. In fact, it was even worse in 2023. Now, that kind of stuff doesn't sit well with me. And of course, I'm telling my soon-to-be ex-husband about what's going on because he is a friend of mine and he's very supportive. He's like, trying to make sure that he could be there for me and just like support me in this time that I'm taking on this challenge of like pushing back against my firm. So one of the things that I do is I write a letter to the head of HR. Because of that letter that I wrote to the head of HR, an investigation was launched and they were like, yep, we messed up.
All right. So she wrote a letter to the director of HR at this company. All right.
People's pay needed to be revamped. Now, even though they fixed the pay of all of the Black employees that were hired through this program, it still wasn't.
Wait a minute. What? I didn't even catch that part. They was hired through a program. What program that was hired through? They was hired through DEI? What the fuck? All right, go ahead.
The correct amount. We were still being significantly underpaid compared to our white peers for doing the same work. I was not happy with that solution because I knew that that was just them slapping a Band-Aid on a situation that literally needed surgery. So, I lawyered up. One thing you're never going to do is you're never going to play with my money, especially when I worked for it. I've now taken on this legal battle with a major Wall Street institution. I am literally drained and exhausted. I'm fighting for myself and others who are not even willing to fight for themselves, right? Because there are a lot of people on Wall Street and in corporate America who are just not willing to stand up for themselves.
You took on this battle because you decided to do this. It wasn't something that you was forced to do. This is something that you wanted to do. Just like you want to marry this dude you said alleged narcissist. Just like you slept here using this dude for his money and all this stuff there because he's a benefit for you.
But here I am putting in the good fight. Now at the time I did go to spend some time in LA because I'm just actually mentally drained. And it was good because I think it was like a different type of isolation. But at the same time, my soon-to-be ex-husband used this opportunity to really weasel himself back in as a source of support for me. He would fly.
Ma'am, he did not weasel himself back in. He didn't. He did not weasel himself back in. He was still there. He still had access to you. Because you said he did. You said that he was still a support system and everything. So once again, which one is it? Is he a support to you or not? Which one is it? Is he there or not? Did you put him in the friend zone or not? Which one is it?
I'm from Florida, spent some weekends in LA with me. He was really just like this great source of support for me and convinced me to get back together with him. And I was like, honestly, like he gets it. He understands what I'm going through, you know. And at this point, this man knows me well. He knows my family dynamics. He knows my triggers. He knows a lot about me, right? So he knows exactly what to say to get back in my life. Now he starts talking about getting a ring and getting engaged somewhere around, I want to say May or June of 2023. Truth be told, I should not have gotten engaged in the mental state that I was in 2023 because I was so drained by this battle. I was so exhausted for having to fight for what was clearly like standard, like the fact that I'm fighting for equal pay for Black people in 2023. It was just mind-boggling, you know what I'm saying? And just the back and forth with the legal situation, I was exhausted. But of course, the whole talks of engagement and all of that, and like just like my soon-to-be ex-husband being there for me and just being this great source of support, it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, like he's so sweet. Again, I'm kind of in a daze in 2023. I'm dealing with a whole legal battle, but I'm still excited because it feels like, oh my gosh, at the end of the day, this is the light at the end of the tunnel. We get engaged in August. Now, you know, once you get engaged, everybody's asking you, when is the wedding? When is the wedding? When is the wedding? So you have all this external pressure, and my family, my friends, everything. I'm a type A person, right? I didn't end up getting a planner for my wedding. I ended up planning it myself. So
typically what happened is this, most women would do the planning of the wedding on their own, and they'll get a wedding coordinator later on down the line, okay? And normally the wedding coordinator would be one of these two. It'll either be a family member that they trust very well who could handle planning very well, or they'll literally go to an external source and literally go through a third-party company like Wedding Wire or things like that to get a or the knots. Most of them go through the knot. The reason why I know is because through my part-time profession of being a DJ, I'm tied up to the Wedding Wire, the knot, and all these other Zola and all these other wedding firms and stuff, right, where they have wedding coordinators there that you can literally hire within your wedding package. So they'll do one or two ways. They'll hire, they'll get a family member, and it'll only be some type of family member, a sister or somebody, or even your mom. And they'll do the wedding planning, or they'll get a wedding coordinator later down the line. Now, once again, she's saying all this situation's happening, right? She's saying that she's on a high level of stress, right? My question is this: if you know that your mindset wasn't to want to be married, that you slept here focusing on your career and the things that happen with your career, right? Why did you agree to the proposal? Even furthermore, why did you agree to get back with him? If you know good and well that you've already seen all these subtle signs of him being narcissistic. If you know good and well that your tuition was telling you that this man is not for you. Why do it? Once again, the reason why is because at the end of the day, money talks. That dude was a high asset to her. He was supporting her. I'm going to put it to you this way. At this point, I'm believing that they never broke up. Just by how the way she's talking, I honestly believe that they never broke up. I honestly believe that he wasn't even in no friend zone, to be honest. That their relationship was still existing. But she just telling the story to try to gaslight it to make it seem like he's the bad guy, he's the villain. And this is the reason why she decided to end this end this marriage. Once again, shout out to everybody who's in the building. Do me a favor, y'all. Make sure you hit the thumbs up to support the channel because it let YouTube know that you want more of this great content. All right. We are reacting to Christine Elizabeth. She is known as the finance baddie. She has socials on all platforms that you could take TikTok, IG, YouTube, and all that good stuff. All right. So she's explaining to us her story, why she got married, and within 365 days later, she got divorced. All right. So let's continue, y'all.
I'm completely caught up with planning my wedding. I'm still dealing with this legal battle. I have now moved to Florida. I still have my place in New York, but now I'm in Florida. Thankfully now I know like 2 couples in Florida. So I do have people there. But I'm now in a different state. I'm still dealing with this legal battle. I'm here planning a wedding. I'm also transitioning careers, right? Because when you go up against a firm in Wall Street, like best of luck if you think you're going to have a career in Wall Street after that. But also that experience left such a bitter taste in my mouth that I decided that I didn't want to work on Wall Street anymore.
Now you know what, Maya? I didn't even want to find a lawsuit. That's actually a good idea because I know that I'm not going to finish this show tonight. I know this is going to be a part 2. Because we got a lot of content. We got a lot of content that we got to deal with her. You know what I'm saying? Because she also went on to a YouTube channel that we got to react to as well too. So we got a lot. So I could do this. Well, what I can do, I could see if I could find out if she really did have a lawsuit with this alleged company. If I find out about it, then I'll present it on the next episode for sure. But thanks for bringing it up. That was a good point, Maya. That was a good point.
So I'd made my mind up that I was done with the industry. Now this legal battle, I'm not done with it until roughly February of 2024. And I also want to provide the context that I wanted to take this to litigation because the evidence was all there. The wrongdoing was there.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Maya.
And it would have been a case that would have really changed a lot of things for the industry and people underpaying Black people in the industry. But my soon-to-be ex-husband was a big advocate for me settling because he was like, you know what? I've seen how drained you've been. I've seen how exhausted you've been. And, just prioritize your peace and move forward. In retrospect, right, he just wanted me to, get paid quickly and just move along. That's what he wanted me to do. If it were up to me, I probably would have litigated. And my lawyers were ready and willing to litigate. Now, one thing to note is even before we got engaged, this is before premarital counseling, we had gone through this book where we were just kind of like figuring out like, what do we want out of life? Does this all make sense? Does it make sense to get married? For example, one of those questions in that book was like, okay, how many kids do you want? And I remember saying, okay, like I want 2 to 3 kids. And he was like, oh yeah, I want 2 to 3 kids. Essentially what he did the entire time, I did not know this. But again, he is a great actor. He deserves an Oscar. He was mirroring me the entire time. He knew my family dynamics. He knew what I liked. He knew what I didn't like. And he was presenting himself to be the type of person that I would want in a husband. Another thing to note is 2023, he suddenly gets very bulked up, very muscular. Now, he was always athletic, but he was always on the slimmer side, right? 2023, he has bulked up, right? I'm like, okay, what happened to you? He just has this newfound passion for the gym, I guess. He always went to the gym, but...
So what does this have to do with anything?
Like, he was never doing all of that, like, weight, and, like, he wasn't eating that amount of protein and all of that. Now, after we got married, that is when the mask started to slip. So he would say things like, I have to go to the gym and have all this protein and eat all this food to look good for you and to be bulked up for you. And I'm like, look good for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to look like that, like, you're the one who decided to bulk up like this, right? Like, you decided to do this to yourself. I never told you to do that. So you always want to pay attention when it comes to dating someone. If you find that they're like transforming themselves to be someone to match you a little bit too much, right? And it's not organic, it's not natural, it's not something that they ever were. That is something that you need to pay attention to.
Now, this particular part right here, I know without a shadow of doubt that she's being disingenuous, all right? Now, first of all, I can meet with her on this, on her point that when you're going out and you doing things, to be healthy, you're being physical fit and stuff, I can meet with her that you don't supposed to be doing it for a person. You're supposed to be doing it for yourself. In fact, I teach you that all the time over here at the lounge about this is what men supposed to be doing anyway. But however, the reason why I'm calling her disingenuous is because this is exactly what she do. She is a gym rat. She goes to the gym all the time. She do all this protein stuff. She have this certain type of eating regimen. So what this dude is doing is that, once again, he is displaying sucker behavior. Where he said that if I do these certain things that she like, then she's going to like me even more. So since she's doing all this stuff, eating right and different things like that, he going to do the same as that thing too to match her. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if she was indirectly encouraging him to do that. And you know how sometimes what people do, right? They're doing it an indirect way. This dude used to eating steak and hamburgers and different things like that, right? Food that he loved to eat, right? And one day she'll hit him up and say, hey, let's go to this vegan restaurant. Knowing good and down well, this dude never ate vegan food the day before his life. But that's something that you do. And so you'll do it in an indirect way to try to introduce him to new things. Am I lying about that? People do it all the time. Like, say for example, it's a show that you never watched before. Like, some women like watching reality shows, right? And they know that the men won't be interested in the show, so they're not going to directly tell their man to come watch the show. They'll do it in an indirect way. And how the way they do it, they'll say this: "Hey, babe, tonight let's have a movie night." And that's how they introduce it. Let's have a movie night. And the dude, being a sucker, he'll like, you know what? That's cool. We don't have to go out tonight. We just chill. I'll pop some popcorn and get the thing going. I'll even cook for you, do all this stuff because it's gonna be cool. He ended up doing that, right? After they got through eating, he got the popcorn and different things like that, right? And they sit down, and guess what? He pick up the remote, turn on Netflix, boom, turn on Netflix, right? He kind of got an idea of what he want to watch, right? But he don't want to be rude about it. So guess what he say? Babe, what is it that you want to watch? Then that's when she introduced it in an indirect way. Say, well, it's a show that I've been watching and stuff right now. I've been, binge watching stuff. You want to watch that with me? And he already vulnerable and cool and different things like that, right? He like, you know what? Forget it. We're here. I don't care. And guess what? Clicking on that show, and she indirectly got him watching reality shows. That's what people tend to do. Now, notice the language that I use. I didn't say that that's what women tend to do, because I know that women are manipulators. I know that women are even master manipulators. But I also know in these particular situations that it's not just a woman thing. I know that men could do that as well too, could manipulate women in an indirect way too. Because I done did it. Hell, to be honest with you, I do it now. Even to this day, I'm a married man and I do that. My wife does it to me in an indirect way. In an indirect way, she'll get me to do something. In the indirect way, I'll get her to do something. But let's continue, y'all.
At the time, I just thought, you know what? He bulked up. He has this newfound passion for the gym. It is what it is. I didn't know that someone with narcissistic personality disorder, they are going to mirror their target like crazy. And he had to bulk up in such a way and transform himself because he had to be seen as worthy of being my partner. But once we got married, he's complaining about the way that he has to eat all this protein and eat all this food for me. And I'm like, well, if you don't want to do something, you shouldn't do it. Like, it's not a requirement to be with me. You know, like, this is something that you put on yourself. He has really deep abandonment wounds, right? And this is something I always encouraged him to work on. And it really showed itself in one particular instance. This was in July of 2024. He was going to get some food at this particular place that I don't like eating at. He was asking me what I wanted to eat. I was like, look, you know, I don't even eat from there. I don't know why you're asking me what I want. And I told him, like, look, I'm going to go home and I'm going to order something. And at the time we were out at this particular plaza, and it was going to be easier for him to just drive there, get what he wanted, drive back home. And for me, it just would have been easier for me to just Uber home and order what I wanted. So I told him, look, I'm just going to go home and Uber what I want. So I got out of the car and I was about to call my Uber on my phone.
What the So they had a simple disagreement about food choices. So much so that she was that hard-headed where she decided to get out of the vehicle and call her a Uber to tell the Uber to take her to the house so she could DoorDash some food to her.
That's bullshit.
Now, once again, this do not sound right at all. This, to me, this don't sound like the behavior of a narcissist. It don't. Wherefore, it's the man perspective. It sounds like she is more the narcissist in the situation than he is. Or am I wrong about this? I mean, when we go back and go back to the beginning of this tape, right, of this footage, right, everything that she have explained in the story, she pointed it towards him as having the mental issue, which is narcissism. But guess what? She never at once acknowledged her part in the story. She never acknowledged that, hey, I need to take accountability for X, Y, and Z. I did this, I need to take accountability for this. I did that, and I need to take accountability for that. Yeah, I fell for it. I need to take accountability for that because I'm learning. She never did that. But instead, what she did, she is doing what is known as playing the victim. She wants people to have sympathy and empathy for her story. But when people are listening to this, right, if you're not listening to it with a critical ear, when you're not listening to it to gain a perspective on it, then you'll easily fall victim to this type of narcissism. Remember what I said earlier, that the behavior of a narcissistic person doesn't change and is very noticeable if you pick up on the signs. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, I'll present to you that in reality, she is the actual villain in this story so far. She is the one who is the narcissist in this story so far. Now, have this dude did anything wrong in this story? I mean, he could have. He could have absolutely did things wrong, but guess what? She's not telling the story because that's also what a narcissist does. Because to be honest with you, she's not explaining the story. What she's even going into details about what exactly is this dude that's doing to her to make him to become a narcissist. She really not doing that. So he could have very well did some things to her, but we don't know because she's not being more transparent with it at all, period. When you hold yourself accountable for the choices and decisions that you make, right, you're going to be transparent about your storytelling. Give you an example. Those of you at the lounge, y'all know over here at the lounge, I done told y'all plenty of times about my divorce story, my whole entire marriage and divorce. And I done told y'all plenty of times how it transpired, my role that I played in and everything, being fully transparent with y'all. Giving y'all the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of it. While still holding myself accountable. But in her storytelling, she's not doing that. She's not doing it. And Lionel, shut up. You know good and down well. I done talked plenty of times about my divorce. Stop trolling. Shut up. Even got a 3-part song talking about it. So what the hell are you talking about? You know I talk about that all the time. It got a 3-part song talking about that too. 3 different songs talking about it. Talking about I need the refreshers. No. Listen to my songs, damn it. I got 3 songs out talking about it. But let's continue, y'all.
Kid you not, this man drives in front of me, wrestles my phone out of my hand.
People, so what am I?
Force, so angrily that like I'm pushed, and he drives off in the parking lot. He makes a loop in the parking lot, actually, like a lunatic, in anger. And at the time, I only had my personal phone. I didn't have my work phone, so I'm in the parking lot, no phone. He drives back around. And I'm like, yo, what is wrong with you, sir?
What? Wait a minute. What? She said she's back in the parking lot with no phone. I thought she said she was going to call Uber. What? Wait a minute. What? Hold up, man.
Look good for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to look like that, like, you're the one who decided to bulk up like this, right? Like, you decided to do this to yourself. I never told you to do that. So you always want to pay attention when it comes to dating someone. If you find that they're like transforming themselves to be someone to match you a little bit too much, right? And it's not organic, it's not natural, it's not something that they ever were. That is something that you need to pay attention to. At the time, I just thought, you know what? He bulked up. He has this newfound passion for the gym. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I didn't know that someone with narcissistic personality disorder, they are going to mirror their target like crazy. Mm-hmm. And he had to bulk up in such a way and transform himself because he had to be seen as worthy of being my partner. But once we got married, he's complaining about
my partner. My partner. Wow. All right.
The way that he has to eat all this protein and eat all this food for me. And I'm like, well, if you don't want to do something, you shouldn't do it. Like, it's not a requirement to be with me. You know, like, this is something that you put on yourself.
No. She did make it to be a requirement to be with her. Because in the beginning, she was saying that so far it's 3 different things that caused for them to break up. The first thing was dealing with religion. The second thing was dealing with what? Finances, something like that. Then there was a third weird thing right now that's happening right now.
He has really deep abandonment wounds, right? And this is something I always encouraged him to work on. And it really showed itself in one particular instance. This was in July of 2024. He was going to get some food at this particular place that I don't like eating at. He was asking me what I wanted to eat. I was like, look, you know I don't even eat from there. I don't know why you're asking me what I want. And I told him, like, look, I'm going to go home and I'm going to order something. And at the time we were out at this particular plaza, and it was going to be easier for him to just drive there, get what he wanted, drive back home. And for me, it just would have been easier for me to just Uber home and order what I wanted. So I told him, look, I'm just going to go home and Uber what I want. So I got out of the car and I was about to call my Uber on my phone. I kid you not, this man drives in front of me, wrestles my phone out of my hand.
Okay.
With such force, so angrily that like I'm pushed, and he drives off in the parking lot. He makes a loop in the parking lot, actually, like a lunatic in anger. And at the time, I only had my personal phone. I didn't have my work phone. So I'm in the parking lot, no phone. He drives back around and I'm like, yo, what is wrong with you, sir? Like, what is wrong with you?
So let me see something. Hold up. All right. So I have my phone right now, right? I'm walking around with my phone. I'm getting my phone. And normally the behavior of a person who hold their phone is like this. You either going to hold your phone like this in front of you, or you're going to hold the phone like this with both hands in front of you if you're texting or whatever, right? So what I'm trying to figure out is this. Explain this to me, because the physics is not adding up, all right? She said that this dude had drove around to her, right? Circled around, and while he's driving, he snatched the phone from her and kept driving. Explain to me, how in the hell is that possible if you're holding the phone like this or like this? Unless you're holding the phone like that, outward. Explain to me, how in the hell can a person you got to drive the car with one hand, right? And the other hand, you got to have your hands out the window to even grab the phone. So explain to me, how in the hell did he do that? How in the hell did he drive around like he too fast, too furious, right? Drive around and grab her phone and drove off and then circle back around again. That don't make no sense to me. That's weird as hell. Unless that boy that good, unless he living the double life, that dude part of a special agent or something. That dude is John Wick or somebody, I don't know.
He's like telling me that I can't just be walking out of the car on him. It's disrespectful. Again, abandonment wound triggered. That was the...
And here's another thing too. She mentioned about abandonment, right? She said that this was one of his things that he need to work on, is abandonment. By her knowing that, right? Why would you purposely trigger a abandonment situation? Why would you do that? Why would you purposely create a abandonment situation knowing good and well that this is one of these dude's triggers? It's like this. It's like the same concept when people do what is known as hit below the belt, right? And both men and women do this to each other, right? When they get mad at each other. A woman would say things like, "That's why your penis is small," in the middle of the argument, knowing good and well this dude has some type of insecurity about him having sex with her or performing well or whatever, and she just throw it out there, right? Or he'll say something below the belt too. "That's why you fat. You working out, you're fat." So my question is, if he was that vulnerable and sharing that information to you, and you was helping him cope through that, right? Why would you purposely create a unnecessary situation that triggers that abandonment emotion with him, knowing good and well you know that that's his trigger? Why would you do that? Because at the end of the day, the whole entire situation is stupid as hell. Okay, fine. You don't have to eat at the same restaurant that he had to. Fine, you don't have to do that. We could simply go somewhere else. But I'm going to eat here. Me and my wife does it all the time. Maybe one day I'll be wanting a certain type of food, and guess what? I'm going to go and get that certain type of food. But at the same time, we're going to drive and get her food as well too. It is not that big of a deal. But however, when you go back and Understand what I said earlier when she was making that reference to he was broken up and stuff, and I told y'all in that reference that he was doing that to try to mirror her, right? And I was telling you that he was doing that to try to be a sucker and different things like that. Part of that sucker behavior is that she wants this dude to comply with every little thing that he's doing. If he's already doing all this protein stuff, right, and he decided that one day he want to have a cheat day, right? Guess what? No, you ain't doing that. You're supposed to be working out anyway. Why you want to get a burger from McDonald's and you're working out? That's unhealthy. Because I want a burger from McDonald's. You can't tell me what to do. Well, take me home. Take me home. Why I'm going to take you home for? Because you're sitting up here acting up. All right, let me go ahead and stop and give me something to eat first. Now, just hop up out the car. I'm going to call an Uber and hop up out the car.
First, like, I've never seen him like that before. Narcissists, a lot of them have an abandonment wound. When I'm trying to address this with him and I'm trying to get him to take accountability, he's talking about the fact that he's doing all this stuff for my birthday. And I'm like,
yeah, we do, Maya.
What does my birthday have to do with anything? My birthday has nothing to do with this, right? Like, you're trying to love bomb me. You're trying to gaslight me. You're trying to manipulate me when you need to take accountability for your actions. So he does some semblance of fake accountability, and he says, you know, he's going to be working on himself. It's not going to happen again. I want to add this in because I think this is very important for people who might be in a work environment similar to Wall Street. Because I had worked on Wall Street for years, right? I had interned on Wall Street my junior year of college. I returned full time. A total of 5 years is what I spent on Wall Street. But you have to understand that there are a lot of narcissistic personalities on Wall Street. And I had normalized narcissists. Like, the guy I worked with the last 2 years I was working on Wall Street, I worked with him the most, right? Straight up narcissist. But you have to understand that on Wall Street specifically, and I'm not talking about just corporate America, because
once again, y'all, I apologize that I keep stopping this, but every single time she opened her mouth, y'all, I just catch her in a lie, man. Every single moment. Every single moment I catch this woman in a lie, man. Now, check this out. Check this out. I want to redirect y'all to what I said earlier. I told y'all earlier that narcissists have signs that you're going to see. Right? But what tends to happen is that people tends to ignore the signs because that particular person who's a narcissist is beneficial to them. Some of y'all in the chat said, well, Urban, it probably was hard for her to notice the signs of him being a narcissist. Okay, let's entertain that. It's hard for her to notice the signs about being a narcissist. We're going to entertain that right now, all right? So, if it was hard for her to notice the signs of her ex-husband being a narcissist, why in the hell did she say that she recognized and noticed that people are narcissists at Wall Street? How would she know that if she can't recognize the signs of narcissism? Preferably with the dude. Because obviously, if you are in an environment with narcissistic people, you're going to pick up on the signs. You're going to notice the behavior because, once again, their behavior do not change. It don't deviate. And there's a reason behind that. So, once again, she's sitting up here lying again, gaslighting again, right? Say, I didn't know the signs, but yet still, she's saying her, I worked with narcissists for 5 years. I didn't work with narcissists, so I know what narcissism are. I know what it is, but however, my tuition didn't pick up that this dude's a narcissist. Bullshit.
That's bullshit.
There is a big difference between
Observer, what's up with it?
And corporate America, right? It's a different personality type. And in order for you to be successful on Wall Street, you do have to have narcissistic traits. But again, there's a big difference between having narcissistic traits and having narcissistic personality disorder. In order for you to be successful in most spheres of life, you do have to have narcissistic traits. There is a healthy amount of narcissistic traits that one can possess. But when you have a full-blown personality disorder, where you've had a psychotic break from reality, that's when things are now getting very dangerous. Now he starts to say some random things, and this is after.
Now she's trying to deviate between the two, that, you can have the traits, but the disorder is worse. And I'm telling you, regardless of the traits, regardless of the disorder, you're going to notice it. She's still trying to pretend that I didn't know and I'm the victim. And that is not the truth at all. It's not. Once again, shout out to everybody who's here at the stream right now. We are reacting to Christina Elizabeth. She is known as the financial baddie on all social media platforms, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you could think of. She is on that move. But she's an introvert. So we are reacting to it tonight because she had got married a year ago, and 365 days later, she is divorced. And she is explaining to us her reasoning why she divorced her husband. All right. So we reacted to it, and I'm picking up on a lot of things that she's talking about and reacting to that. All right. Shout out to my sponsor for tonight. It's with Culture. Culture has some sponsor with us again with the $5 super chat. She said, Culture said this. She's not a A-type. She has control issues, no siblings, and watch far too many narcissistic videos on YouTube. Shoot. I agree. I absolutely agree. Now, if you want to also be a sponsor of the stream, by all means you can. You could be a sponsor by either donating through the super chat. You can either hype the video and be a sponsor as well too, or you can give other donations such as on Cash App or anything like that. None of that isn't a requirement. All right, if it's something you want to do, by all means that you do it. But one of the main requirements that I want y'all to do, if you're here, you're watching right now, make sure you thumbs up the stream. All right. So let's go ahead and continue to react to her. And once again, I know that I'm not going to finish this reaction show with her because it's a lot of content. She got a lot of content. All right. So it is going to be a part 2 of this because she after this situation, she went on what we content creators call a world tour. Meaning that she went on to other content creators' channel and telling her story. And we're going to react to that as well too. All right. And there's other things as well, too, that we're going to pull up. A matter of fact, Maya, she brought it up to my attention. She said, Urban, hey, we could just pull that information up about the lawsuit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and investigate this lawsuit, and I'm going to try to pull this information up. Hell, I'll probably end up putting up her divorce up as well, too, because that's public information unless she made it private. All right. So we got a lot of work to do with this, y'all. But appreciate y'all tuning in. Let's continue.
We got married. He would say things like, I get why the guys at the office pay for escorts and essentially pay for smecks and stuff like that. And I would be like, huh? I'm sorry, what kind of rhetoric is that? Like, our values are not aligned if you're saying stuff like that. And you never said anything like this prior to us being married. So like, where's this coming from? He would just be like, oh, I was just like thinking about that. I'm like, okay. And as a woman, that that's loser mentality, right? Because that if a man has to pay for connection with a woman, it just means that he's a loser. He does not know how to build a connection with a woman. And so it's a loser mentality, right? And so I had to clock him about it. And I was like, yo, like, I don't know where you're getting this rhetoric from, and I don't know why you're saying this stuff, but you need to check yourself. Another thing that he starts to say is, I get why guys choose simple women over career women. Because now he has an issue with the fact that I'm a content creator. And he's throwing shade at me being a content creator and working as much as I do. And he would also say things like, people just don't know how hard it is to be an influencer husband. Okay.
And that right there, we're going to end it right here, all right? Because I got to get ready to go, all right? So we're going to end this stream right here. And once again, we're going to do part 2 of this. of us reacted to, because I got a lot to say about this content creator influencing thing that she's talking about as well too, because I did some research on her. All right, so once again, appreciate everybody who tuned into the stream today. I thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the sponsors for tonight. Appreciate your donations as well too. Those of y'all who are catching the replay of this, make sure you catch the beginning of this, and make sure you thumbs up the video as well too to support the channel. And also, if you're not sub up to this channel, all right, make sure you sub up to this channel so you can get more of this great content. All right. So other than that, y'all, appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. I will see y'all again roughly about the same time. I go live up around by 8:30ish or 8:45, the same time every night. Central Standard Time, by the way. All right. So make sure you have your notifications set when I do go live again. All right. So I'll see y'all again on the next episode.